नाज़रीन, इस वक्त टेलीफोन लाइन पे हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं स्पेन में एक मारूफ जरीदा फॉरेन पॉलिसी की मैनेजिंग एडिटर और पब्लिशर क्रिस्टीना मैंजानो, जो एक पॉलिटिकल साइंटिस्ट हैं और बैनुल-अक़वामी अमूर पर उनकी गहरी नज़र होती है। वेलकम टू द प्रोग्राम क्रिस्टीना। माय फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज regarding the European thinking and the Western thinking on the Arab-Israeli conflict. So briefly speaking, how you will mention the historical perspective of this issue?
Well, I can speak from the European perspective. You know, the Western as a whole has been following the American guidelines for this conflict. And the United States has always supported the Israelis since the creation of the State of Israel. I would say that in Europe we tend to be a bit more neutral and to consider more the Palestinian position. This is a very bad-rooted conflict between two peoples who have been fighting for a territory for many, many years, many centuries, I would say, and it's not easy. So I think we are starting to see a bit of hope. Even if the conflict is still there, and the new government in Israel doesn't seem to be the best suited to advance in a peace process, but I think from Europe we would like to think that peace is a bit nearer now.
Well, as you wish, or it's your personal opinion that you wish that the peace may be there in Palestine and Israel. But the question, the main bone of contention is that out of 10 million Palestinian people, 5 million people are still internally displaced people. They are refugees, and yes. Israel is not giving any signs that it will stop its settlements, or it is going to relinquish the occupied places like Gaza Strip and West Bank. So while the Israeli intransigence is very obvious for the whole of the world, what's the reason of your optimism?
Well, optimism wouldn't be the exact word. That would be too much. In the recent trip of Netanyahu to Europe, he has been pressed also by Europe to stop the settlements. He hasn't said that it would be so, but he has mentioned that a new negotiating process could be starting in a couple of months. That means that we think that may mean that he is willing, or that he could be willing to stop the settlements a little bit in the coming weeks to start negotiations. Also, the one problem for the negotiations is the division among the own Palestinians. And I feel that Hamas is being taken more seriously by the international community. It has been banned for many negotiations. It has been banned for many meetings because the United States mainly consider Hamas a terrorist organization, but they handle the power in Gaza. And after the conflict last week, the fights last week between Hamas and an Al-Qaeda linked group, I think it has gained a little bit more of respectability. So yes, again, this Israeli government is too right-wing to permit us to see a better future, but at the same time, an agreement has to be reached in not too long.
Well, President Obama has taken many initiatives after taking his office in Washington in January 2009, and that also includes Middle East, which this crisis is called as mother of all crises. So George Michel's diplomacy, right now, if we see so many numerous trips to the region by George Michel, and we haven't seen any results. What different now we can expect? I mean, if we are optimistic, if we think or if we wish that peace will be in the region, George Mitchell's diplomatic efforts, where do you rank those efforts?
Oof, that's very difficult to rank those efforts. I could give him, from 1 to 10, I could give him a 6 probably. Obama is too much worried with his conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan, and that's why he named George Mitchell as envoy special for the Middle East. Some signs in the United States and the new administration point to the fact that they won't be supporting everything that Israel does, as it happened in the past. And I think that's an advance. They won't go against Israel either, because that's not in their nature, but at least they won't support everything that Israel has been doing. Also, the small counterpart that could be in the European Union, the public opinion in Europe was very much against the war against Gaza, the attacks against Gaza last January. That was very, very, very badly seen in Europe. So I think Europe could be also put some pressure on the United States not to support everything that Israel does.
Right. In last 4 decades, we have seen various attempts, various accords, and at different level there were negotiations between Palestinians and Israeli government with the Oslo Accord and the Camp David Accord, but nothing has yielded any positive results which may ensure durable, sustainable peace in the region. And now, right now, we are not looking at. We are not waiting for anything concrete in the near future. It's only shuttling, like we see that Netanyahu is visiting Europe, like we see that George Mitchell is going up and down to Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. What exactly you think? What should be done for settlement of this issue?
Well, I've also heard and seen some executivism towards new peace accords and new peace agreements, because as you mentioned, all of them have failed. The most recent probably being the Annapolis agreement on the same thing, due to mostly to the attitude of the Israeli government that they are not complying with the agreements. It's not going forward. I wouldn't be able to foresee what kind of formal agreement they reach, but just the willingness of sitting down and speak together is one. Again, a very essential part of this possible future will be how the Palestinian groups get together